Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Welcome to my show. Well, as you all know, we live in uncertain times. The pandemic has rattled nerves. People are afraid to go back to work at this point, and probably losing sleep in some cases. If you watch the news, it's all negative, and so we need a dose of optimism. Joining us is the world-renowned Shelley Roxanne. She is the queen of optimism. Welcome to the show, Shelley.
Thanks, Jeff. How are you?
Well, we need some optimism right now. Tell us, how did you get the name Queen of Optimism?
Well, in 1994, I started my first company, and it was called Optimistic Inc., and it was a personal and professional development company. And then every company after that, I started a water company called Optimistic H2O, and a school for boys called Optimistic Leadership Academy for Boys. So I was interviewed by a national magazine, and they said, "This is the Queen of Optimism." And it was just kind of stuck after that, because of all of my optimistic branded companies, I suppose, and my outlook.
Well, your name certainly fits, and I love the name of your book, so you're going to have to tell us about it. The Frustrated Believer, right there on the screen. Tell us, how did you come up with the book, and what is the book about?
The book is 50 short, little bite-sized chapters of what I call, the book started out as a love letter, actually, to my sons. One of my sons, my youngest, was going off to college, and I said, I want to give my boys some how-to, some success principles to guide them in their life, some things that they can refer to. And so I came up with the book, and I had the chapters and was trying to figure out, what the title would be. And it had a few different titles, but eventually, someone said to me, well, who is it for? And I said, it's for the frustrated believer. And the subtitle, as you see, is What to Do When You Don't Know What to Do. And that is exactly what the book is about. It is a reference guide. People leave it on the nightstand. You can read it out of order. Any chapter you can pick up that speaks to you for that particular situation you're dealing with. And so it's super fun. And I'm so happy the feedback that I've been getting about people's lives that have been changed and transformed by the book.
Well, and I want my audience to know that I'm dealing with a celebrity who has brushed elbows with the rich and famous. You have a very successful radio show, and as we're showing some video from the show, I'm just going to rattle off some of the people that you've had the chance to interview. Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad, Poor Dad fame, Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Wayne Dyer, Wally Famous, Amos. Man, the list goes on and on.
My favorite.
Well, I need to know a commonality. All those names that I just rattled off has to be optimism. Each one of them had to overcome some stuff to get to where they are.
Yes.
Is that what you've discovered about life? Is the secret is how you approach it? Because we all get dealt,
It absolutely is. There's one chapter in the book that's called Life is Like Photography, You Develop from the Negative. And so I do try and help people to see that every single solitary situation that is happening, appears to be happening to you, is happening for you. And that it really is about how you are looking at things. So my favorite quote, which was attributed to Wayne Dyer, which is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that's really what optimism is all about.
That's really powerful. Well, I want to give you a chance to kind of brag a little bit. This is the home of Mark Cuban, and so when I saw in your bio that you edged out Mark Cuban, tell us what happened.
Well, the funny story is, the book went #1 on Inauguration Day, when Donald Trump was inaugurated. And so I thought it was ironic and pretty funny that it's The Frustrated Believer goes #1, and the #2 book was Mark Cuban's book. So I was like, I beat out the billionaire Mark Cuban for the #1 spot. It was, and I have the screenshot and the proof, the receipts, as they say, to prove that that's true.
I love it. Well, I've had a chance to interview Mark Cuban. He's a great guest, so you need to have him on your show sometime, and then just kind of spring it on him.
I definitely do,
right?
and I'm gonna just dig a little bit up.
That's awesome. Well, we're almost out of time for this segment, so please give us some words of wisdom for the person who's feeling down right now, for the person who's feeling frightened and unsure. What are some closing thoughts?
Yeah, I would say right now, Jeff, to be honest, what I'm recommending to a lot of people who are contacting me saying, Shelley, help me through this thing. And what I tell them is, do your math. Do your math. And what I mean by that is to count your blessings. Write down 101 things that you are thankful for, that you are grateful for in your life. Because what's happening is we get caught up in all of the news and the drama about everything that's happening in this time that we're living in with the pandemic. And sometimes we have to shift our perspective back to what is really, really important. This is here to help us, believe it or not. It is not here to hurt us. And it is here to wake us up to some of the things that we need to do. I say that it's been an adult timeout. Go to your room and think about what you've done.
Yes.
And so,
I've heard, Shelley, I've heard so many wonderful stories of people who, after the initial shock of the lockdown happened, they started to look for the positive, and they started to look at, wow, I'm able to have dinner with my family. I'm able to read a book. I'm able to work out. I'm able to do a lot of things that I couldn't do before. That's a good way to look at life, isn't it?
It absolutely is a wonderful way. I tell people that we are living in a get to life, not a have to life. So if your approach is, I get to be here and spend time with my family, I get to be able to catch up on my reading and self-improvement and self-development, I get to enjoy the people that I love more. So there are definitely wonderful ways to look at this, and that's what you have to do. Just simply shift your perspective.
Wow, I love that. We're going to put your website up on the screen so people can get in touch with you. ShelleyRoxanne.com is the website. Book her for speaking engagements and coaching, and you've been an amazing guest. We're going to have you back on again soon.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you.
You bet. All right, that's it for now. Okay. We'll see you next time.
All righty.